Hello and welcome to episode 2 of my DCS Mission Editor series. Today we are taking our simple mission and we are going to add some late activated units, some triggers, markings, and some static objects to make it feel more alive. First off, let's define our front line more with the draw tool. For the purpose of our front line, we'll draw a multi-segment line and change its thickness and style to suit our mission. You can also change its name, which I highly recommend doing, as later on you can manipulate these objects with some scripting. If you want it to be visible on the F10 map, you will also have to change its layer property. Below that is the Hidden on F10 map section where you can hide it from different roles if you wish. Now, if you want to modify the line, you can by selecting the white boxes at each point and dragging them. Some of the other draw objects can also be rotated. Let's place down some text and modify it to show where the main supply route is on our map. You can see by clicking on the object, the small white box changes to a circle. This indicates now that we can rotate the object. These boxes will automatically scale and can be quite annoying at times, so just keep working with them until you find the right size and look for your mission. Now that our map has information on it, let's go ahead and make our carrier feel more alive. Here we are zoomed in on the carrier that we will be operating from. In its default state it is pretty barren, so let's go ahead and make it feel more alive by attaching some static objects to it. I usually will set up one static object to get started, and then I copy and paste it as needed. As we really don't need to see these static objects on the F10 map, let's go ahead and hide them. We also need to make sure we link these static units to the carrier. With the first unit set up, we can now copy and paste it multiple times. We can also change the type and category of the static object we are placing. Let's get multiple different units across the carrier and see how it's looking. Sometimes when you change the category or type of static, it will forget what it is linked to, so always verify that it is still linked to the carrier or whatever object you are linking it to. Keep in mind when placing these on your carrier not to block the landing area or the catapults. I'm pretty happy with this layout for now. Let's load up the mission and see what it looks like in game, and then we can make any changes necessary. Once in game, you can use F12 to cycle through the different static objects. Everything's looking pretty good. Maybe a few more tweaks and additions and our carrier will be good to go. With the carrier all set up, let's add some more units to the map, but this time let's add an enemy cap flight that will spawn when we meet a certain criteria. Set up the group how you'd like, ensuring that it is set to late activation. In this situation, we'll set up a group of MiG-29s to take off once we start our mission. Now let's take a look at the trigger section of the mission editor. First, we need to create a trigger. Each trigger can be set to occur once, repetitively, on a switch condition, or on mission start. For what we are doing, a one-time trigger should work fine. Now you can name it and tie it to an event if you want. For this, we are not going to tie it to an event, but instead we are going to find a condition that will work. You can also color code your triggers, which can be very helpful as you add more and more triggers throughout mission creation. There are a lot of conditions in the trigger section, so let's take a look at them and see which one we might want to use. Unit's altitude will work for what we're trying to do. We'll set it to about 1000, and that way when the strike group is climbing out, they'll trigger it. Make sure to link it to the unit that is going to trigger the action. As you can see, all of the units we have added are in the list. This is where a good naming convention can really save some time. Now we need to tell this trigger what to do when the condition is met with an action. Here we will activate the cap group. That is the trigger all set up. As you can see, they are not overly complicated, but they can really add a lot of flexibility to your mission. Usually I like to test missions after creating a trigger just to make sure that they are working properly before proceeding. So let's save and launch the mission, and we'll make sure everything is working. As you can see, once the condition was met, the group was activated. Let's add a few more triggers to tell the player where the convoy is located when it reaches certain waypoints along the route. This time we will run the script from the advanced waypoint section of the convoy group. For this, we need to know what DCS is looking for. You can find more information on the DCS website, and I have provided a link in the description that will take you to the DCS Singletons section of the DCS website. We will be looking for the out text singleton. We are just going to execute the trigger code when the waypoint is reached with the trigger action out text. We can copy and paste this code into other waypoints and change the text if we want to do this at any other points. Now with that done, let's also tie a sound message into the red cap flight so that we know when it has reached waypoint 1. It's the same process we did with the out text, but this time we will be using out sound and link it to a sound file. It's important to note that sound files used by DCS must be in either OGG or WAV format. You can manually place the sound file, or you can force it in with the trigger. Let's create another trigger and play the sound to a country that we know isn't active in our mission. This will force the sound file to be loaded into the mission file, and we can call it later to play when our cap flight reaches waypoint 1.
An enemy cap flight has been detected. Proceed with caution.
With the trigger in place and the script in place on the waypoint, we should now get a sound file when our red cap flight reaches waypoint 1. Let's give it a test.
An enemy cap flight has been detected. Proceed with caution.
Okay, the timing seems to be good and all sounds and messages are coming through. In the next episode, we'll add some AWACS, refuelers, and get some more action going on in this mission. If you've made it this far, hit the like button down below and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.